Hey guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox. Today we are here looking at J. Scott Campbell's Danger Girl sketchbook. And the volume of stuff you can learn just from looking at the cover. Like there's a few things I can point out that I've struggled with, right? There's several that I'm going to point out throughout the course of this book that have taken me a while to notice what's right and what's wrong. One thing is how breasts fit in a t-shirt. And this one line where the shirt stretches, there's only one, not three. And he'll do one stretching from like the left to the right as well, the closer one towards the further one. And it's like this wrinkle on her pants. Right now I'm looking at a lot of wrinkles in clothing because that's what I'm drawing. I was drawing trees last couple weeks. Right now I'm doing characters. I was doing faces for a while. This book, J. Scott Campbell, he's really good. He's really, really good. I mean, we already know that, right? We're not looking at the story. We're just looking at the art here. This is going to be a little obnoxious. My hands are going to be in the way for most of this because this does not want to stay open. So hopefully there'll be lots of room. He also animated the girls, and I suppose I can show you guys that. Let's see how this works. See the girl in the corner? It's a little hard at the end because they sort of flips out of your hand. Let's see these last ones again. Yeah. I highly recommend picking a copy of this up so you can fail at that yourself. There's so much in here, you guys. It looks like a lot of this was also done with traditional medium, not with computer colors. A lot of lines, a lot of cross-hatching by hand. A lot of colored pencil work, a lot of smudge work. This is the Abby Chase development page. There's so much here. It's going to take us a while to get through it. Again, the wrinkles plus how he does skin tight, plus how he does female musculature, plus how he does female facial expressions, character design, poses. The way he does leather, the way he does highlights on black leather. Sounds like we may have to cut this short for landscapers, and I will have to continue later. Look at how much his design changed. Here's one, that line right there on her shirt. There's another one over there. He didn't do it here. Logo design for the top of the cover. Look at how good the gun looks. That's a Desert Eagle, and it's perfect. Probably a little bit too small. I think in real life it would actually be a little bit bigger in her hand. This is just unreal good. A pinball machine. He did so much work. The second half of this is all video game stuff. This is still character design for the comic. Wait till you guys see this stuff coming up. Look at this expression chart for Abby Chase. A little Disney-esque stuff. I would have already said his style was very Disney, but this is him caricaturing Disney. Whoa, sorry about that, guys. For the toys, look at how defined he got for the toys. Their exact proportions. Abby is 7¼ heads tall. Wait till you see how he breaks down the hair for Sydney. And this, remember, this is work that outside of this sketchbook was just business to business work. He was doing this to produce another object, a toy. And so this was never really meant to be published anywhere except this sketchbook. I mean, even doing the feet, right? This is unreal. This is so good. Look at how he breaks down Sydney's bangs. I learned so much from reading this today. I hope it sticks with me. I have to keep this like next to the drawing pad just to look at all the time. And you shouldn't even put it back in the plastic, because if it goes back in the plastic, it'll go back in the box. If it goes back in the box, I'll never see it again. I have a PDF of it. I should have it open on my desktop. I don't know if this gun took 2 magazines. I should look into that. That's really kind of cool. Sorry, guys. I know that was obnoxious. This is still for the toy. This is Abby's figure. Or a statue, I guess, not a toy. I know there was a few. But he really went into all kinds of detail about how her foot should sit flat, the gun should fit in the hand, the bag, this skull. He's correcting things up here. I think he's referencing probably a prototype we didn't see. These are the other characters. Valerie, Agent Zero, Natalia, Sydney, Maxim. Now this girl, I think, is included in the video game. I think we're into the video game stuff now. Yes, we are. New character development. I want to say I played this. I think I remember the opening of it, but I don't ever remember finishing it. I honestly don't know. I think I played it and it was boring, but the art was amazing. Or I've looked at this sketchbook so many times and this stuff is so ingrained in my memory. I know he says in here that this is for a level he didn't get to make, Abbey in Arabia, which is pretty cool. They're very cool designs. I think some of these other levels were in the game. I don't remember any of it, if I played it or not. This is a Asian ninja level. And then we get a few pages of storyboards. This is pretty cool too. So this is like an animated opening. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's pretty good. See, I suspect that making Natalia a villain is what killed the series, but probably choosing the Nazis as the main villain is what killed the series. Knowing what we know now, remember this came out before 9/11. This was produced in a pre-9/11 world. There was never going to be another war. We thought we had reached the end of history. We thought we had reached global peace. But obviously now we know the Rothschilds and that money that the Jews have. If you isolate the top 50 Jews, all world wars would cease immediately. The top 50 wealthiest Jews. That's absolutely true. I saw that yesterday somewhere online, I'm sure. So this was made in a pre-9/11 world. The world that this had to sell itself into was very different. And having the Ubermensch as the bad guys was, remember the Jews still had the mask on back then. They didn't take the mask off until 2015. Not really. Not until they started banning people like Mike Enoch and the guys at TRS. And then the October 7th thing, the mask is all off now. And, if, you know, some people divide their battle space as them against the Muslims. I don't want to divide my battle space as anything against anyone, but I know who the biggest threat to white people are. That's a different thing. Who is the biggest threat to white European nations? It's not Muslims. It's an internal enemy. In a few pages here, we get some glossy pages, which is really cool. Nipples. Dangerous discovery. Cold, hard nipples. Frozen assets. Guessing these were all levels. That would be worth digging out and playing. Getting a system again. I don't even have a television. JC is the replacement character for Natalia. Glossy pages. It's so good. It's so good. Comics never got this good again. I will stand by that. This book, Battle Chasers too, but really Danger Girl to me is peak comic book perfection. In terms of, the writing is simple. They didn't even try. They did a no effort story and it's that good. So when your writing is effortless, that's really, really good. The bit where she falls in the water and the harpoon gun was there and the boat's coming across the surface, that's some of the best writing I've ever seen. Just that bit right there. It's rare that you get stuff that good. It takes energy and effort because you have to kick back the first few ideas that come to you. That's what makes really good writing. Oh, look, here we go. The boob line stretch again right there, leading from the front boob to the back boob. That's how you have to do it. It has to go from the front one to the back one. And preferably along the bottom. Not like I used to do it along the top, and that's not right. It's better to do it along the bottom, apparently. It's just notes. Anyhow, when writing is effortless, that's when it's really good. And even that good, they had to throw away the first few ideas that came to them. That took some time and effort to put that together. The harpoon gun and the out of the car and the boat and everything. It wasn't as simple as they made it look. They had to think about it. Now, in terms of bad writing, they did choose to use a traitor in their midst, and that's very, very bad writing, and I believe that's the bad writing that killed this series. More than anything else, I think it was making Natalia a villain that killed the series. It made sense. I get that it was kind of necessary, but you know what? It is what it is. I can't change it. I don't have any suggestions for how to fix it. It's already done. No one can go back in time. That's the one thing none of us can do. Especially since Natalia was really kind of the Cyclops of the group. She was the leader. She was the team leader. And she kind of meant the most because she had betrayed her country to become a Danger Girl. She had left Russia to become a Danger Girl. So that's not insignificant. Anyhow, that's it. That's the Danger Girl sketchbook. With Hip Flask. I don't know what to say. I can see why he didn't want to do interiors again. I get it. I really, really do. This series broke his heart. Hey guys, I am John Carrick, and today we were looking at J. Scott Campbell's sketchbook. And after looking at this and after having read that series, I stand by what I said. I think this broke his heart. I don't know if he was the one who decided Natalia had to be a villain, or if Andy did, or if they fought about it, or if they agreed about it, or if they both wanted to back out of it at some point. It wrecked the book. And it's unfortunate. If you think about big shows like Firefly, Cowboy Bebop, things that really hit and resonated with people, it was always about teamwork and loyalty. G.I. Joe. How would it have happened if one of the founding Joes turned out to be a traitor and was actually working for Cobra? I don't think the show would have come back from it. You had people who could switch sides, yeah, that could happen, but not like this. Not with the first one, not with the... It was too good. The first few issues of this were too good. The setup was too good. The bit where Natalia touched Abby's ring in like the second issue and told her she was happy she was on the team, it was too good. And when they wrecked that, they really did. They wrecked it. And so the fact that this was so successful, that it got a video game, that it got a toy line. Cowboy Bebop, you could argue, never saw the kind of success this did. And it took a lot more effort on the part of a lot more people. To produce animation is different than producing a comic book. They had tons of people, 26 episodes, and a movie. Yeah, so, it's too bad. It's really too bad because all the design work that went into these characters and the world building, it was so good. It was so solid in 7 issues. Now, he had a lot of help. Yeah, he had Jim Lee and all the Image guys in his corner. Everyone was helping him. And that must not have been easy either, because that's a lot of noise in your ear to try and filter out. And as far as I know, this is his first. That was his first comic book series. It must have been really difficult to juggle and manage. And considering that we got what we did get, I would say he did a magnificent job. He did an incredible job. I'm really impressed. Danger Girls, I need to level myself up to that level. I'm improving. Spent a lot of time drawing today. Doing some character work today. And, right now I'm doing one day at a time. So, we've all got our own struggles. Today's card is the Queen of Hearts, Conflicted Deck 3. In this one, it says Gordon must sit down with his wife and talk to her about the realities of a post-collapse world. That's not a conversation you can have with someone. You can say that you want to. You can say that you're gonna with your wife. Sure, you can have that conversation, but it's like sitting down and talking about winning the lottery. What you're doing is you're creating an emotional experience with your wife where you're trying to scare her, and so you're changing the relationship. And no all you're going to be at that point is someone who it depends on how you do it and who she is. And you have to be very careful about how you go about doing it. The way they described it in here is not how you go about doing it. The way you go about doing it is you build up this person's confidence in outdoorsy activities, whether it's exercise, hiking, bushcraft, like going out and rugged sort of camping, or not glamping, but camping where you go and create your own campsite in a big forest. A person who doesn't challenge themselves regularly, a person who's not always finding their limits and pushing past them, is not a person you can prepare for the end of the world. A person who is finding their limits and pushing past them, I promise you, has engaged this conversation in their own mind, if nowhere else. So if you're married to someone and you know who you're married to, if you're married to someone who lives in a fantasy land, if you're married to a child, that's on you. If you are a child, that's on you. I have made big mistakes. I'm trying to learn from them. But you have to confront your reality. That's important. That's super important. I didn't pull out this Fantasy World Tarot card. Show it to you guys. I doubt that I can read whatever it is. Looks pretty cool though. A satyr. Oh, that's what it is. Obviously. A satyr. Like Pan. Although I think Pan was his name, not his genus, right? Pan was a satyr, wasn't he? I guess, or goat man or something like that. I don't know. Anyhow, what do I want to talk about? Teamwork, loyalty. It's the most important thing in the world. My parents, I've mentioned before, had 14 kids. And unfortunately, they had no teamwork with each other. And therefore, their children developed no loyalty amongst each other. And it's a tragedy. But it was spurred on by society and my parents as individuals. They allowed the messaging of the world to seep into their ears. Both of them did. It's very hard to block out the messaging of the world. When the world is telling you that you are that you ain't shit, it's very hard to stand up and say, I am the shit. You better flush because I am the shit. It's very hard to do that when the world is telling you you're worthless. And everyone is equally worthless, and everyone is equally irreplaceable. Both of those things can be true at the same time. Can you be an atheist and believe in God at the same time? Can you? Can you? Or are you just an atheist running around looking for evidence of God's action in your life? Belief is an active verb. It's not a decision that you make. I believe it's kind of a struggle. And for me, that struggle is, am I living up to the opportunities that Mother Nature or God or the universe has afforded me? Have I failed my luck? I think that was something Napoleon said. And I don't know if it was in that Joaquin Phoenix movie that I saw that. I was looking at a lot of Napoleon stuff about a few months ago. I had to write a Napoleon chapter for the book that I'm working on. Because the Valkyries go back through time and recruit the greatest warriors of all time for this big fight that they're setting up. So I had to look up Napoleon, and I didn't want Napoleon, I wanted Waterloo. What I was really doing wasn't choosing individual warriors as much as I was choosing massive conflicts where both sides showed an inordinate amount of courage. And Waterloo was one of those. So yeah. Have I failed my luck? I have not failed my luck. That's one thing I am sure of. I'm not a drunk. There's a lot of things I've failed, but my life was set to hard. My difficulty was set to max hard. Nothing about my life has been easy. And I don't know many people who would describe their own lives as easy. But I've set some very high goals for myself, and so far I have failed at them. I am achieving them. I'm getting better. Every failure is a step closer to success. So I have achieved this goal. When I was doing this was all that mattered. I wasn't drawing at all. I was just writing, especially these first two. Now I'm drawing and writing. I've been so successful at this, regardless of the market. It's not about selling it. It's about how good it is. And it's about it being mine. No one owns my stories. No one can take my characters and go do some bullshit with them or tell me that I can't work on them. I have my work cut out for me. I have the biggest challenge in the world. I'm trying to do several things simultaneously, and I'm winning. So I can't complain. And here I am out here still complaining. Ashley Fox Ninja Babysitter. This is a comic book in our description as a PDF. It is black and white. It is not colored. There is some colored work on the audiobooks, which are linked at the end of this. Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox. So when it comes to that kind of stuff, I am trying to do my own Danger Girl, and I haven't had to make any mistakes like killing off a loyal member of the team. Although, if I had made mistakes in the first book, there's a character who's, you know what my mistakes are in the first two books? I do what's called head hopping. I don't stay with the one main characters. I don't stay with the good guys. In the new one, I'm still head hopping, but I have managed to keep it just to the protagonists, and there is no scenes with antagonists unless they are in the scene. They're never a main character. I had antagonists in the first couple books who have chapters, and they function as the main character of that chapter. And I think that can have the same effect. Now, that's something they didn't do very often here. The one time it looked like they were doing it, they were actually introducing a new character in Teddy Owen, whose house Maxim went to, and they destroyed it. So that, I suppose, is my mistake. But I didn't do anything that killed the story for me, that made it heartbreaking to go back to. I love my stories so much. I'm so proud of them. I can die happy having these two novels published. The comic book is good too, but that's not my art, so I have to acknowledge that I was not skilled enough to produce that work of art. But I love my books. I really, really do. I'm super proud of them. I tackled the most challenging aspects of life on Earth with those novels, I think, for me. So yeah. And yeah, getting to continue every day that I have my own place and I get to do more work for this. Whether or not it's making me money yet, I know it will someday. I know it will. It has to. Yeah, either, I could die, right? I could get in a car accident. I could grow old and die, and maybe it'll never make money. That's possible. But if I keep at it, as long as I keep at it, sooner or later it has to hit because it's that good. So I'm confident this next new novel and the artwork that I'm doing to support it and promote it will, if the third one doesn't hit, maybe the fourth one will. Maybe the fifth one will. I'm not going anywhere. See you guys tomorrow.